Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, CHAMA, and today I'm just going to be doing a recap of PEREIRA versus ANKALAEV. And I'm a little bit late to this, but I thought I should get this video out after I sort of hear other people's opinions. Look over what Bedtime said, what the big guys said, Lucas Tracy and my guru. See their opinions and sort of give my own. And I'm just going to start from the main event, Alex Pereira versus ANKALAEV. So see, in this one, I picked ANKALAEV and I did a whole breakdown video on it where I said I could see him out striking Alex Pereira, but I thought I'd be able to take him down and get him out there on the ground. He outstruck Alex Pereira. I was right. And in the comments of that video, I got so much hate. There was just like so many, not so many people, but so many people relative to the amount of people that watched the video saying, I'll come back to this when ANKALAEV gets knocked out. Let's bet on this fight. And guess what, guys? I was right. ANKALAEV outstruck Alex Pereira. I think the robbery statements are sort of ridiculous. It comes down to round 3. I think 49-46 ANKALAEV from Saul D'Amato was wrong, but it's Saul D'Amato. What do you expect? And yeah, ANKALAEV cashed an underdog pick. If you think Alex Pereira won, go watch the Weasel's video where he did Who Really Won. Go watch that. It's a really good breakdown of sort of who landed the greater shots in round 3. He goes through every shot. He does the Weasel thing. And he said ANKALAEV won. And I honestly agree with him. I think the push round is really round 3. And I think he got it done. He just happened to be a little bit more effective in round 3 with that one jab that he landed that really stumbled Alex Pereira with those teep kicks. He landed a few leg kicks. And I know Alex Pereira outstruck him on the numbers, but so many of those strikes were those really light leg kicks that didn't really do any damage to ANKALAEV. So I really agree. I think the decision was fine. I think people are sort of coping because everybody likes Pereira so much. You see here on the Tapology, everybody thought he was going to win. A lot of people thought he was going to win by a KO. But yeah, that ANKALAEV decision worked out pretty well. In my prediction video, I said he either gets him out by a 4th round ground and pound TKO, which was my official prediction, or with a via a 48-47 decision, and that's what he did. And the reality of it is, Alex Pereira deserves a rematch in this one, and if he does get the rematch, I think he could beat ANKALAEV the second time around. I was wrong about Pereira's wrestling. I thought ANKALAEV would be able to take him down, and ANKALAEV couldn't take him down. He just had to resort to outstriking Pereira on the feet, which he did. But ANKALAEV being unable to take him down allows Alex Pereira to come into the second fight a lot calmer, with a lot more confidence in his own abilities against ANKALAEV, which I think means that if these two fight again, I would pick Alex Pereira to win. Not because I think ANKALAEV didn't perform well. I think he did. I just think the psychological advantage that Alex Pereira is going to have in a potential rematch, which I think is going to happen, will be enough to, with the knowledge that he can deny all of ANKALAEV's takedowns, to just let his hands go a little bit more on the feet. Because the reality of it is, Alex Pereira didn't throw anything on the feet. He threw leg kicks over and over again, and he was so timid. And anybody who calls this fight boring, it's not because of ANKALAEV. He was the one who was constantly going forward, throwing left hands, throwing big shots, stumbling Pereira, almost finishing him at the end of round 2. And meanwhile, Pereira was throwing leg kicks over and over again, leg kick after leg kick after leg kick. And honestly, the commentary for this one was a typical absurd bias for Pereira. I was getting so frustrated watching it live. But at the end of the day, Big Ank got it done. My prediction came true. And yeah, I was pretty happy. A lot of people are like, how could you be happy ANKALAEV won? First of all, because I picked him to win. And also, this allows us to get Jones Aspinall. And if they don't do the rematch here, they could do Izzy Pereira at light heavyweight, which would also be a huge fight. And now the light heavyweight division becomes interesting again, because you have ANKALAEV versus Roundtree, ANKALAEV versus Prohaska. You have all these great fights you can make coming up soon in the light heavyweight division. Anyway, I'm going to move on now to Justin Gaethje versus Rafael FIZIEV. I picked Rafael FIZIEV to win a close 29-28 decision, and Justin Gaethje won a pretty close 29-28 decision. I think round 3 was closer than people are saying. I'm going to go watch it back, and maybe if I feel like I'll look through it, and if I think FIZIEV won, I'll do a Weasel video on it tomorrow. Because if I see that FIZIEV landed the better strikes round 3, I think that'd be a cool video to make, because nobody's really talking about how close round 3 was. FIZIEV started off the round really well. It's just a lot of people have the image of, Gaethje poured it on at the end of round 3. you can't ignore the good work Fiziev did early because Gaethje started to pour it on. So I think Fiziev's not getting enough credit for how close that fight was and stepping in on 12 days notice to give us a war. He did his Fiziev thing. I think Fiziev is just such a cool fighter, and he's so underappreciated in the fan base. But yeah, man, that was another great fight. It was really fun to watch. And yeah, it was really interesting to me. And yeah, look over the Fiziev fight to see, in round 3, to see exactly if Fiziev has an argument to win. Because I think he might. But yeah, another war. Justin Gaethje gets another performance bonus. It's honestly what we all expected. And I think this was better than Justin Gaethje versus Dan Hooker would have been. If this was a 5-rounder, I think it'd be absolutely better. A 3-rounder is a little bit underwhelming, but you can't expect Fiziev to go 5 rounds after coming off the couch with 12 days notice. Like, that's just an unrealistic expectation of Fiziev. Next up, Jalen Turner versus Ignacio Bahamondes. Bahamondes started the week. I made this video pretty early in the week. I made it the week before, actually. He started as an underdog, and that's when I picked him. But he ended up being a slight favorite. And yeah, he got it done via submission, which was so cool to see. I mean, like, it just shows you the depth of this guy's game. Bahamondes can really be a contender at lightweight. And yeah, I mean, him and Hoofy had great performances to start the main card, except for Limos Lucindo, which I'm going to get to in a second. That was incredibly annoying. I have a rant about that, but we'll get to that later. Yeah, Jalen Turner retired after this fight, so I guess no more Jalen Turner, which was also just a crazy revelation. He's 29, but I think a lot of people were saying it. His heart's not really in the game. No, he doesn't really want to do it. He doesn't want to fight. And I think it was the right decision for him to move on from his MMA career. And yeah, just go to other places in his life where he might actually enjoy it. Yeah, I mean, Jalen Turner has a really low fight IQ. He shot into a leg triangle. I mean, getting triangled in 2025 is crazy. Like, it's such like a 2008 submission that Ignacio Bahamondes pulled off in 2025. But yeah, I mean, it was a great performance from Bahamondes. And he just got, he didn't really do anything. We didn't see that much of his game. But we can assume that he had a great grappling improvement because he was just willing to sit in his back. He got the triangle. But yeah, I mean, Jalen Turner sort of threw himself into a triangle a little bit. But it was also impressive from Bahamondes. I'm not going to deny Bahamondes' great performance. Yeah, this fight was maybe the worst thing I've seen in my entire life. I picked Lemos, and I got it right. It was not that hard of a pick. Lucindo's not as good as Lemos, I think. But who cares, man? This ruined it all. And I think we need to start taking, if we're not going to separate men's and women's MMA, we need to at least put women's MMA on the prelims exclusively. They cannot be, because you start with Mauricio Hoofy versus King Green, and it's so cool. It's so cool. I'm just going to skip over this and get right into that. Mauricio Hoofy does an incredible spinning wheel kick. Like, one of the, it was maybe the greatest knockout that I've ever watched live. Because I'm decently young. I've only been watching for 3 or 4 years. That's probably the greatest knockout I've ever seen live. And yeah, we immediately go from that into Lemos versus Lucindo, which has just no action, is incredibly boring, serves no purpose. And yeah, I mean, Hoofy just announced himself. He KO'd King Green. King Green got punished for always having his hands down, which I feel like was an inevitability as his career went on, because you can't fight with that style in the UFC with all these great kickers for as long as King Green has been fighting and not get just KO'd out cold once for it. And yeah, this was the fight that King Green really got punished for his style with his hands down. And honestly, it was an incredible knockout from Hoofy. I was getting so excited. The crowd was going crazy. And then nothing happens in Lemos versus Lucindo. Lucindo lands 0 significant strikes in 2 rounds. 0 in 2. That was the most... I don't think... I know so many people have been talking about this, and the card recovered because of how good the next few fights were. But man, this almost ruined it so hard. And you have Joshua Van versus Ray Suryo right there. I'm just going to get into that. It's right there. Joshua Van is so entertaining. And I know this fight kind of disappointed because Ray Suryo was just on his knees the entire time in front of Joshua Van, getting sprawled with his insane cardio. But why not put this on the main event? I mean, Joshua Van almost finishes Ray Suryo at the end, and it's so much better than Lemos Lucindo. It's just no one cares about. No fan is waking up in the morning saying I'm hyped for Lemos Lucindo. So many people were saying Joshua Van versus Ray Soria is the real main event. And it would have been if Ray Soria would have got off his knees a little bit in the fight. Yeah, honestly, Joshua Van with a great performance. He got it done via decision. I think he could have got a finish if Ray Soria's cardio wasn't just as insane. He kept shooting just freestyle wrestling takedowns, and he never got tired. So I think if Ray Soria adds a little bit of striking to his game, him and Tatsuro Taira both could be really good prospects in flyweight. But they were just so weak in the striking aspect of the game that they're not going to be able to do anything at the level, like, they're not going to get anywhere with the striking that they have right now. But yeah, this was such a good performance from Joshua Van. And I really want to see him like brought into the rankings. Obviously, he's going to be in the rankings after this one. Give him like a top 10 opponent. Start building him up. He's only 23, so he has a lot of time. So just don't rush him. Give him a favorable matchup in the top 10. I'd say like 8 to 13 range would be good. And yeah, then you can just slowly move him up the rankings, build him up. He's still young. He still has time. So if we just take our time with Joshua Van, if the UFC does, he could end up being great. He could be the one to beat Pantoja with his sprawling ability. But I think Pantoja is realistically going to be too old for Joshua Van by the time Joshua Van gets there, so it'll probably be a different champion. But yeah, man, this was so impressive from Joshua Van. And I'm really looking forward to his next fight, too. This was just an incredible fight. And yeah, this should have been on the main card over the travesty that was Lemos versus Lucindo. But, it is what it is. Disney ownership and all that. We all heard it a million times. Next up, Bruno Ferreira versus Armen Petrosyan. I just want to say, I did incredibly on picks. I got every fight, but the first one, Jordan Santos versus Ozzy Diaz and FIZIEV versus Gaethje Wright. I went 8-2. I picked Ferreira by a round 2 KO. He got it done by a round 2 sub. So I really take this one. Like, it was a great underdog pick by me. Pretty proud of this. Yeah, I mean, Petrosyan just, like, Petrosyan kicked him in the nuts twice. He got a point taken away for it. He grabbed the fence. Yeah, I mean, like, nobody likes... Armen Petrosyan might be, like, one of the most unlikable fighters in the UFC. He copes. He coped after the Sharamagomedov fight. He cheats. And yeah, man, I was so happy to see Bruno Ferreira submit him. I wish he'd just broken his arm, but we can't always get what we want. Yeah, Ferreira was a really popular pick. Like, you see here, very topology. A lot of people picked him. I think that's just because nobody likes Armen Petrosyan. And yeah, he got it done. The people's, like, who the people wanted to win. Got the fight done. Got the win done. Oh, this is the one that everybody was crying about a robbery. Myron Santos versus Francis Marshall. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think Marshall won. I think Marshall probably won the first and the third. But I think Santos won the second with those jabs. I don't think Marshall's grappling in the second was that effective. He didn't do that much with his takedowns. I think a lot of people are being blinded by the commentary who said that he was up 2-0 going into the third when I don't think he was. I think he won the third, but I think the third was also close. So I think it is a robbery to give it to Mario Santos, but it's not as ridiculous as some people are claiming it to be. People are comparing it to Renat Facardino versus Carlos Lal, and I don't think it's as bad as a robbery as that one was, even though it probably is a robbery. But I think so was Jordan Santos versus Ozzy Diaz. I think Santos definitely won that 29-28, but I'll get to that later. Yeah. But Marlon Santos just doesn't look that good. He looked really good on Tough. He KO'd Kano a bit. I think he's just not going to be that good. We're not going to really see him turn into anything in the UFC. Maybe he can have like 3 or 4 fights and then maybe get into like the top. I don't think he's ever going to make it to the rankings band. I think he's going to have like 5 fights and get cut. But we're going to see. I was excited for his UFC debut and he didn't really show me anything. Francis Marshall seems like he could be pretty good on the other hand. So I'm looking forward to see what he can do as a prospect. He's really young too. He's like 25. And yeah, I hope he can build back from this loss where he just lost half his paycheck in a fight that I think he won. Even though it wasn't that egregious of a robbery, I think people are like overestimating how big of a robbery it was. But I think Francis Marshall won this one. He got kind of robbed. Yeah, this was just Alex Moreno versus Carlos Lal. I said Moreno was a good underdog. I was completely wrong. I didn't pick him. I picked Lal. But I was wrong on this one. I thought Lal would look worse because on his UFC debut against Facardino, I thought it was on roids. He'd come off roids. He'd look worse against Moreno. He didn't. He just bullied him for 4 minutes and KO'd him. And I think probably we're going to see Moreno get cut after this one, which sort of sucks for him. But yeah, I think Lal's pretty good. I mean, he did incredibly in this one. It was like a bully fest for 5 minutes. But yeah, he got this one done. It was a great win for him. And he could be something at welterweight. I mean, he's just a big ball of muscle with power who's good at defending takedowns. So we're going to have to see what Lil turns into. But he has a lot of potential in the welterweight division. Lastly, Ozzy Diaz versus Jordan Santos. I got this pick wrong as well. I thought Jordan Santos won this 2-1. I might be kind of coping, but I thought he won the second round. He obviously won the first round, and Diaz obviously won the third round. So it comes into the second. And I thought he got it done. So I'll go watch this back, and maybe if I make a FIZIEV video where I say FIZIEV got robbed, I'll also get into why I think maybe Santos got robbed. But, yeah, I mean, this was also a barn burner. This was, like, such a low-level fight between two middleweights that was just so good to watch. Just, like, they're exchanging the pocket, just no kicks thrown, just boxing, dirty boxing for 15 minutes, both bloody, both tired, still walking forward like zombies. Yeah, it was honestly a banger of a fight. And I thought Santos won, but you can't really complain about it. It's his UFC debut. He'll be back. He'll be better. And yeah, it's good to see Diaz get a win because he got sparked last time by Zhang Minyang. But yeah, that's it for me today. I'll make my every fight to make next video probably tomorrow, and then I'll drop predictions for the Vittori versus Stolidze on Tuesday. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe, like, and check out my other socials. See you guys next.